Okay, I think we are live on Twitch. Oh, have I muted this? Yes, I have. Very good. Okay, just checking YouTube. Yep, looks like we're live on YouTube as well. Okay, I'm just going to do a little bit with sorting out the burrows while we wait for people to join. So, yes, indoors. Just want to increase the area that's considered indoors. So let's get box select on. And I want to allow them to work upstairs. See, they don't need to go right to the edge, so we won't have them go right to the edge. Then down, yep, that's all considered indoors, that's fine. Down. Oh, that's okay. I was just about to take that off and I realised it's not actually the bottom level, so that's fine. I'm going to include all of this on the indoors. And we'll take it out to there. We've already done that layer. And this layer will include all of this as well. I think that's up in the air, but we'll clean that up a bit. This layer's fine. We'll maybe include that bit there. Yep, that's good. That's good. That's good. As is that. Oh yeah, but we'll allow them to work on the additional bedrooms. That's okay. Down here, that's fine too. Might as well have that little bit there. Hello, Potato. Not sure if my message can be seen here, but hi. Yeah, everything's working, I think. So yes, I can see YouTube chat. We'll just include that little bit there because I think they've left that wheelbarrow and they can't pick it up. And while we're still indoors, let's allow them to do a bit more digging. Because as I mentioned previously, while we're locked indoors, that's a really good time for the miners to do all of the to dig the connections to the outside world on these long tunnels. So we'll get all of this sorted. I think we're at the top there. Yes, we are. Okay, and then before I forget, right, now this is the bit that I am going to keep. We'll mark that bit eventually, but not until we're ready for it. So that allows our miners to do something. Potato, you're very close to finishing the animation video. Nice. Oh, hang on. Yes, we need to include all of that as well. Let's get these walls, just in case we decide to do any engraving or smoothing or anything. And that bit there. And just check down. We'll include the siege workshop just in case. In fact, I'll extend that out a little bit, just in case. Okay, yeah, we need to tell them that all of this is fine. You can work there. So what am I blooting out? What I'm working on at the moment, just while I'm doing one of those maintenance tasks, just while, you know, waiting for people to join and stuff. What we have here is, it's a burrow. It's a safe zone. So at the moment, because I've got a siege underway, we've got the base lockdown. I've told all the civilians they must remain in this indoors area. So I'm just extending what we consider as indoors, because they won't do any work. They won't go outside of indoors. Now, I do have... Let's see, we've got this pathway down to the caves there. I'm going to allow them to go down. Well, it's not yet a cave, actually. Just in case we decide to extend any of this at all, we'll allow them in this area and that area. And here, because at the moment they can't pick up those 2 rock blocks, for example. Or that one. Waiting for people to join. It's 5 AM here. All your American viewers are asleep. Yeah, but it's like 1 AM, 1 PM in Europe. So, and about noon, just gone noon in the UK. But I know it's an unusual time to stream, so we might have a bit of a quiet stream. But yeah, before we get into anything, oh, this is nice. What are you doing up at 5 AM, Potato? That's a crazy time to be awake. Is it late for you or is it early for you? I forgot how deep this was. So where I left it at the end of the last stream was that... Aha, right, yes. So we're down to this layer. Fine. So we've got a siege underway. It's only a very small number of people. It's a small number of humans. And we have 5 of them trapped in our tunnel system. We killed one of them, but in killing that one... He killed one of our archers, he chopped off the arm of another, and anyway, yeah, it turned out that even though our archers are pretty well equipped, they couldn't stand up to even one human swordsman without melee support. So we weren't really ready to take anyone on, but I thought 10 on 1, we should stand a good chance of killing him before he does any injuries to us. I was wrong. So at the moment we are working on getting making sure that we've got enough steel to get our melee troops fully kitted out. So we've got a military force with some reasonable troops as well, but they're not very well kitted out. So half of them are running around naked. I think we've got one called George who who, in putting on his uniform, took off his clothes in order to put on his uniform and only got half dressed and is running around half naked at the moment, even though we do actually have some kit for him to put on. Yeah, he got half dressed and then decided to go for training. Now what I should do is get Dwarf Therapist up and running, because we'll need to check that to give us an idea of where the equipping of the dwarves is up to. So I've got it grouped by military status. And if... Right, here's our people. Yes, George. So George is running around with his torso uncovered. And that's why we're down here mining marble, because we need... Marble is a flux stone. We need flux to be able to make steel. So I think we're out of steel at the moment, but we've got plenty of iron to turn into steel. Naked from the top half or bottom half. This is important. I think it's his top half. We can have a look, actually. So George, on his lower body, yes, he has trousers on, but he's missing. So I told them to wear a dress over their top half, trousers on the bottom half. Oops. And then to put a suit of steel armor over that. So George took off the dress he was wearing, took off the trousers he was wearing, put the trousers back on, but didn't put the dress back on. He just went straight into training at that point. So it's like, come on, George, go and get dressed. So we've got most of our military at the moment are, although George is the only one who's partially naked, none of our melee soldiers are equipped enough for me to feel safe for them to take on the people in the tunnels. So a little bit of patience will just make all of the difference. Just keep our dwarves safe rather than putting them at unnecessary risk. Oh, that snap was a tortoise losing its training. So I've got a bit of a problem. Let me just pause a second. Yeah, so here's our tortoise room. Semi-wild. Are you wild? No? Maybe. They're not laying eggs. Now, what it might be, I've been trying to think about this. Because the nest box was claimed by the female tortoise. I was thinking, why is she not laying eggs? It might be that she's too young. So I've decided what we'll do is we'll allow the animal trainers back into the room. I'm not sure if we can train that tortoise while it's out of a cage, but the male tortoise really doesn't matter as long as it's kept there. So because of the size of the dwarfs, would the fortress be on a scale of a common apartment? I think of dwarves as being about half the size of humans. So I think a good measure, a wall is just a bit higher than a dwarf. If you have a 1x1 corridor, one dwarf has to lie down so another dwarf can pass over the top. They crawl over the top of each other in order to pass by each other. And so I figure that a single block or a Z level is probably about 1 meter high. And because these are cubes, I guess each cube so I think each square is about 1 meter squared. For the people who use imperial measurements, that's about a yard. So about 3 foot square, about 3 foot cubed, so about 3 foot high. So that gives us a feel for how big this is. It's still a relatively sizable area that we've got. Now that said, we can also fit horses, llamas and yaks in the same space. So, you know, it's a bit... a giant can walk down one of the tunnels that fits a dwarf. So it's a little relative. Okay, so yeah, I want somebody to come up and just make sure that the female tortoise gets tamed, retamed. And that might be... oh no, he's gone to work here. I should also get all of these peafowl moved. The pea chicks. Let's just designate this area. So, pen pasture, all of the creatures who are not pastured at the moment. Excuse me. Let's get all of the unpastured pea chicks moved. We've got a lot of pigs and piglets who are not pastured. Just to keep them safe, we could put them here. So, who's not pastured? Let's get you brought up here in case you go wandering off somewhere where I don't want you to be. Okay. Aha. Right, yes. Our animal trainer is up training the tortoise. What's that creature there? Just curious. I think it might be the cavey. Ah, it is. Yeah. Useless creature, but it is one of our pets, unfortunately, so not much we can... What was that music? That's not a sound I'm used to. Oh, okay. So we've just done a bit of tortoise training, and now we know we know more about tortoise training than we did before. That's good. Right, some of these corpses, I would really, really like it if you dumped some of these skeletons that are down here. Particularly the more dangerous ones. And is anyone... ah, yeah, they're working on the ceiling. That's a good thing. Ah, now you see how people are moving quite slowly and some of them are flashing green? And we see a trail of green splodges. That's because they've become cave adapted. They don't like the sunshine anymore. And they are... it's making them nauseous, and they're throwing up on the roof as they come up here to build stuff. That means that they will they'll work very slowly, but also they'll be quite upset by the work that they're doing. It will give them bad thoughts. Probably what I should do, I'll keep an eye out on who it is, and we'll actually turn construction off for anybody who's become cave adapted. Okay, you for one. So Florida. If we have a look at you, yeah, you're dizzy. So we'll slowly start controlling who's doing this. So if we go by migration wave and Florida, where are you? There you are. So we're going to turn construction off for you. You don't like the outside world. You've been indoors too long. And that's what you'd rather stay there now. Okay, winter is here. And because we're under siege, we've missed all of this year's traders. But I think much rather that than put the dwarves at too much risk. Hang on, who's that now? Fiona. Yep, you're in the same situation. So Fiona, we shall turn you off construction.
Sorry, I can't do it, sir.
And who's this? Albert. Yeah, Albert has probably been indoors an awful long time. So Albert, in fact, will take all of our newest guys off construction because they most certainly will be cave adapted. Hello, Cupo. Welcome to the stream.
Sir, a baby's been born.
Oh, that's just great. Another mouth to feed.
Yes, another mouth to feed. Right, let's get that baby confined. There you go, dwarven baby. And I haven't for a while checked to see whether it's just children that are allocated to the indoor zone. Aha, Bear. So Bear will have been a child when they joined us and has now grown up to be an adult. Same with Logan. So although everybody is confined indoors at the moment, when we allow them out, those people do not need to be restricted to indoors work. Okay. But he says, oh, Sal, because these streams are for the future, do you have any questions you would like to ask future you that only you in the future could answer? Oh, do you know what? Just realised I've told the dwarves that they're allowed out into this area to dig that, and then I didn't actually give them a path to do so. Questions I would like to ask me of the future. Well, having said that, these particular streams are not really for the future. Let's build a couple more chairs. How many have we got? Oh yeah, we've got 11. Good, good, good. Just throw a few more down there. This fortress is a practice fortress to see how well I play, so that I can learn the lessons about how I play Dwarf Fortress for when the update comes out and I record a series. Now that series will be a series that is for me to look back on in the future. Because like I say, every time I play, I always come across something that I've forgotten about. Every time I start it, even if I've been playing fairly constantly, every time I start a new fortress, I come across the problems that I know I had resolved when I last had a new fortress. Why doesn't this work? Why isn't that doing it? Why isn't something behaving the way I thought it would behave? It worked last time. Why is it not working this time? And so making a series for myself to remind myself of the lessons that I've learned is the goal of the next series that I'll record rather than stream. Now, just seeing that gypsum there is making me think. How much do we have in stock? That would be under powders, right? Powder. Yep, down there. Looks like we have no powder. So we did have 1 bag of gypsum. And I guess we've used it on someone's fracture. So I should set up an area for the manufacture of gypsum. And I would also... Oh, very good. They've carved out those extra bedrooms. It would make sense if we put it near the hospital, actually. Where did I put the hospital? Down, 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 not up. Yes, here. We could make soap and gypsum down here. Seems to be a good idea. So I would like a gap of at least 1. Let's make it 2. Give them a bit of space. Then we'll want for our soapery, because we're not on the same floor as the rest of the workshops, I'll put a wood furnace down here. We'll want a gap. Then we'll want an ashery and a gap and a soapery. And then we'll have a gap of 2 at the end to make it a bit spacious. Then we'll want at least 1 gap between the workshops. Then I'll leave a gap of 3. We'll have the other workshops down there. And then a gap of 2 against the wall. And we'll let them put a door through there. Okay, we finally got coffers in the hospital. What is in the coffer? Is that one empty? Aha, so we got crutches, we got threads, splints, cloth, got a bucket, and some thread. Yeah, so we're just missing some gypsum powder. But our dwarves are probably busy down in the tunnels. Let's have a look. So we're building here our northern tunnel. Yes, and the humans are stuck in the miasma of the pigs of mine that they brutally murdered. Now, if the dwarves wouldn't mind, like, mining out those 2 blocks there. That is in the burrow, isn't it? Oh, no, it's not. Okay. My apologies. Let's just include that bit. Yeah, if someone wouldn't mind mining those 2 out, we can put the gate on there. And I think we'll mark out where we want the gates to be, because that worked out really well on this side. I'm sort of plotting out how far apart to make the gate system. And to do that, I designated mining, but then just put on the marker system, and I found it easier if I switch box select off. So we're going to have one here. There'll be another gate here that cuts off the northeast passage. So we might actually want the first gate here at this junction. We'll have gate number 1 there. We'll have gate number 2 about here then. Hang on, why didn't that take it? I thought I've still got box select on. There we go. Then gate number where did you just strike water? Oh, it's fine, it's just under the river. Let's just watch them because they'll hit this a few times. Now, yep, you can dig, box select back on, marker off. It's fine, it's fine. You can dig this. It's not going to cause you problems. You're not going to flood anything. It's not an aquifer. Okay, and then dig. Keep on digging. Who? What? Oh, just a bit sparring. Fine. Okay. Dig that. So the reason why they stop mining is, and the game pauses, is because it can sense that the block that I've told them to mine is connecting to a block that is damp. If you mine underneath a block that is an aquifer, it'll flood your tunnel's base. It will flood the level that you're at. So it pauses to ask you if you're really sure if you want the dwarves to mine that area that is immediately underneath a damp block. Right, so let's mark out the rest of the gates. So designate, marker only, box select off. We'll have another gate around about here. Then we'll have gate 4 around about here. What are these gates? It's my trap system for dealing with sieges and the such like. I have a small example of how it gets used over here. So we're still early in the fortress life, and I don't have much of a military, so it's a small example of how it works, but it works equally well when you're under siege by 120 goblins or something. So what happens is the far end of the tunnel, so the only entrances to my fortress are the underground system, and the underground system they've all got trade accessible entrances, and they're all quite a distance from the fortress, so that means that they're all sort of near the edge of the map. So when trade caravans come into the fortress, they're getting underground very quickly, which is protecting the traders. And then when we get siegers or attackers, they also tend to make a beeline for the tunnel entrances because they know they need, our front door is underground and this is their access to it. So here we had some human siegers that came in, and as soon as they came in, as soon as I got enough of them in, I closed the door behind them. There's a number of gates, which means that as they start pouring through the tunnels, I can trap groups of them. Now we've only got 5 human siegers, so they're split. There's one there, there's one here, and then there's 3 in this tunnel here. And by having numerous entrances and exits, we can be under siege but still leave the fortress open and perfectly safe for people to travel to the outside world. So I am expanding the system now to make our next... How do you dispose of them? Well, normally what I do is I wait until the full force is safely trapped underground, and then I get my army ready. I position my army in a nice area. This is a muster point for them. And then I will release the enemy one gate at a time. So it has two benefits. Well, actually, it's got three benefits to doing it this way. One is that I can make sure that I'm only releasing enough enemy at any one time for my forces to be able to cope with. Now, at the moment, my forces can't cope with 3 human soldiers. So I've left them in the tunnels, and they'll stay there until my troops are fully equipped and well enough armoured. They could make pretty good drowning. Yeah, they could. That'd be another way to deal with it, or magma even. But for the moment, while I'm still early on, I haven't got the engineering technology. Just trapping them there is a good way to deal with it. So I can I can make sure that the enemy don't come at me with overwhelming numbers. I can control the numbers that my forces are dealing with. The second advantage is that it stops my over-enthusiastic troops from chasing a fleeing enemy straight into the clutches of a larger group. So I've had that in the past where I had a tunnel system which just had a gate at the start and the end. The first time I tried this design, I just had a near gate and a far gate, and I didn't have any intermediate gates. But I had a really good military. A bunch of elves had wandered in. I trapped them in, and I got my military ready. I opened the front gates, and I let the elves start working towards us. They had I think it was mooses. What's the plural of mooses? Is it moose? Meese? Moose. We'll go with mooses. They had war mooses and war grizzly bears, and it was their war animals that came at me first. And the war animals, pretty much Mises. Yeah, we'll go with Mises. We took on a few of them and killed them, and then the rest of the animals actually fled back to the larger troops. Well, my military split. You know how the military are. Once they've seen an enemy, that's it. The way their mind works, they won't just sit there and wait to be approached. They won't sit consolidated. So some of them had seen the moose flee. So I think I had a force of about 20 mustered in an area like this. About 5 of them decided to chase the moose. About 2 of them caught up with the moose right at the very far end of the tunnel, where there was about 50 elves. Those 50 elves immediately piled onto those 2 dwarves. Now, the dwarves were far better armoured, far more skilled. They were, I think it was a hammer lord and a mace lord. There were 2 really top quality troops, but there was still only 2 of them. Both of them took out an enormous number of elves. But by the time the rest of my troops hadn't seen the fleeing moose, and so they were still down here. I gave them a kill order so that they would follow, but of course they don't follow with the same. They don't go and kill with the same gusto as a dwarf who's actually spotted his quarry. So by the time they got there, my 2 top crack troops had actually collapsed of exhaustion and been beaten to death. So by having several gates, it stops my over-enthusiastic military from running after any fleeing enemy. And particularly if a siege breaks and we've still got enemies on the map, I might not want those enemies to escape because they might be carrying some goblinite that I want to take from their bodies and sell. And so the third advantage of this is that the vast majority of death happens underground. So I can send my dwarves out to go and collect all of the loot without having to worry about them either being in danger or being exposed to the sunlight. So, and that was the inspiration for why I was making underground tunnels in the first place, was because I just wanted them fighting underground so that they didn't get depressed dealing with collecting the loot. Because yeah, I found that one of the hardest things to deal with was all of that wealth lying out there in the sunlight and the rain. I think I'd had the idea when I was playing on a map where it was almost, I was in a tropical rainforest or something, but it rained pretty much all the time, and the dwarves got really depressed with going out and collecting the goblin loot, getting wet yet again, and so yeah, I was getting tantrums just because we couldn't resist collecting the goblin loot. And then yeah, over time it sort of developed into this sort of multi-tunnel system, which just has the multiple benefits. And so even in a situation, because I'm making lots of tunnels, in a situation like this where we're not quite equipped yet to be able to deal with the enemies, and the enemies were scattered as well. They're being like with goblin attackers, I find that they tend to bunch up quite nicely, and I'll get all of the goblin force will come into the tunnel at once, and I can get the entire army trapped in one tunnel. With the humans, they kind of wandered in one by one, and so I've still got 4 of them on. I've got 5 trapped underground, 1 killed, but there's still 4 of them on the surface somewhere. So we'll open up another tunnel, and we'll get them trapped in another tunnel. And I'll keep on opening tunnels. Eventually we'll have all of the siegers trapped in tunnels, and we can still have access to the outside world for people like visitors. And I know I won't get any traders while we're under siege, but at least then when the siege breaks, if merchants arrive immediately, we'll have access for them immediately. The access will be ready and waiting for them. Another thing I've done in the past, which is quite fun, is fun for me rather than Dwarf Fortress style fun, is if I get a really well fortified, heavily, like big numbers of sort of big bad goblins or something that just looks a bit tough to deal with, I'll leave them in a tunnel, and I'll just bypass that tunnel. I'll leave them down there, and then I'll wait for the elves to attack, and then I'll allow them to I'll open up the tunnels. So because once we've built all the tunnels, I build little connecting tunnels so that they can, if I decide to, I can control the flow of enemies so that one tunnel's worth of enemies can attack another tunnel's worth of enemies. And yeah, we can let them deal with each other and then just go out and collect the loot and finish off the stragglers. So it's, yeah, it just helps to keep my dwarf safe whilst we still get all of the benefits of battles going on. Right, so gate number 5. So the gates are spaced for around about the distance that I found works. About this sort of distance will capture, depending on the size of the army, will capture a good number without, and should still split up a good number as well. Like, we don't want too many gates. So, I mean, I suppose we could, but yeah, there's only so many gates that I want to be building. Right, we'll put gate number 6 here, and then we'll have a far gate at the top. Right, now that we've got that, I want to start getting the gates in. The most important important gates are actually the far gate and the near gate. So build me a bridge here. I've up at the end when we're in peacetime, up at the far end of the tunnel system, I'll place a watch animal so that if we get something like a werebeast come in, the werebeasts will also make a beeline for the tunnels because it's their only way to get to my dwarfs, and they too will. If I put a watch animal, a guard animal at the end there, we'll get warned about them, and then we trap them in the tunnels in the same way. With a werebeast, it means that you can just trap them between a couple of gates until the curse has passed and we can go out and slaughter them and they can't escape off the map. Okay, next one. I want to make sure I have... Yes, that is fully accessible. Okay. Bridge down here, so we'll put bridge number 6, say there. We'll have it retract towards us. Shale blocks. Hang on, did I just miss it? Yes, I did. Thought it was on the second screen. Then here we shall build another bridge. Do that here. Shale blocks. I kind of like how it makes a sort of spiderweb effect as well, especially if I pay attention to where exactly on the map I place my fortress. You can get a really nice sort of sunrise or spiderweb look to the tunnels. Shale blocks, where are you? Are you on it? Oh, there you are. Not a bad bridge. Oh, did I just... I must have cancelled that. Okay, towards us. It's just it's a little bit tiresome getting the tunnels laid out and the bridges built, which is why I don't put more bridges than this in. I mean, I suppose in theory you could even double the number of bridges. But yeah, to use it, once I've got the enemies in the tunnel, I close the far gate first. Then I close the near gate so that we've got them trapped and I'm safe. And then I close all of the intermediate gates just to split up the forces. And then when my army's ready to take them on, I can flip multiple levers. If there's a particularly large grouping of them trapped in one of the chambers, I can use the gate system to split those troops up into smaller numbers, like just tempting a group forwards and then closing the gates at a convenient time. So build bridge. I want bridge number 2 out here. Let me see if I can get your... How do I pronounce your name? Haftrin. Haftrin? Hello, Haftrin. Welcome to the stream. Stress is broken. DF hack. Remove stress all. You know, I kind of like... I've been playing with it, working with it, and I've found ways to manage it. I haven't lost a fortress to stress for... Well, at least since the last update when they brought in the ability to conquer other fortresses. So I'm largely managed to keep my dwarves happy. Yeah, I find that an interesting challenge. I know it's broken and I could work around it, but it's an interesting... Yeah, an interesting additional challenge, I find. Oops, too far. There we go. And what I do, if I get... Most dwarves I find I can keep happy. And if they get upset, I can cheer them up enough. There's always the odd dwarf that just doesn't seem to like being a dwarf. And there's nothing that I can reasonably do to make them feel good there. And so I wait until we've got sort of a handful of dwarves that are looking like they're going to be problematic. And right, I need these guys to dig out that bottom one. And then I'll take them and their spouses, and any gaps I'll fill with some good military dwarves. So I just make sure that it's a good team of people. And I'll send all of the unhappy dwarves out to go and conquer an enemy settlement. And I get them to... to get the enemy to surrender so that they have a reasonably sized civilization there. Okay, and that's my near tunnel. And then if I end up with just one dwarf who's ready to break, I can immediately send them off. I also use the same trick if I've got too many nobles. I think it was the last fort I played. I had an astonishing number of barons. I had something like 8 barons and 8 baronesses in my fortress, and I'm very careful about who I pick to be a baron. So I don't mind having one. You know, it's kind of part of the game, having a baron, and seeing how high up the hierarchy you can get your baron to be. But I pick them very carefully based on what mandates I would be happy with putting out there. So it's like if they're gonna force me to make lots of crowns and then ban me from selling them, or something like trousers. I need to sell trousers because we're going to get overwhelmed with worn out trousers, and trousers are worth good money. So if I've got a baron that is going to ban the sale of trousers, I don't want them in my fort. So yeah, I am kind of careful. I like one baron and one baron only.
Sir, I hate saying no to you, but no.
And I like to be careful. It's good if I find a baron that is going to insist on me making weapons and bans the export of weapons. That's just fine, because I can build lots and lots of weapon traps and just litter them. I tend to put weapon traps around... Is that just sparring? Yeah. I tend to put weapon traps around the near edge of my tunnel system, because then it's easy for the dwarves to go out and clean the bodies out and collect the loot from the weapon traps.
Idea is a very dangerous thing.
Oh, someone's in a fey mood. Okay, we should be okay. Might need to slaughter an animal. I'll just check and see which workshop he claims.
I claim this workshop in the name of invention.
So, Crafts Dwarf Workshop. What do you want? Shining bars of metal, no problem. Leather should be okay. Yeah, we've got some bins in the leather stockpile. I think it's this one. Yep, it is. But yes, we've got leather. Skeletons, we don't have bones. So metal, leather, forests. Yeah, we've got wood. Quarry, we've got stone. Stacked cloth. I think we're okay with stacked cloth, and I think that was more shining bars of metal, was it? So we just need to slaughter something to give him some bones. Fine. Right, what do we have that needs slaughtering? Don't think we slaughtered anything for a while. I need to start bringing down the cat population somewhat. Make me 100 crowns. Export of crowns is now banned. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's such a pain when that happens. It fills up my stockpile with crowns. And then at some point I will accidentally sell a crown, and I had half my fortress in prison one day. Not in this playthrough, but in an earlier playthrough. People got really upset about ending up in prison. And the worst of it was that I didn't have enough prison cells made for all of the people who'd been involved in the export of... It was either crowns or trousers. Those two things stick in my mind. I think I'm going to butcher some boars, though. We've got quite a few boars, so let's just do search on boars and get them in order. Butcher the top boar. I'll butcher 3 of them. That'll leave 4 spare boars, because at the moment I am using them as guard animals. Yeah, half of my fortress was involved in shipping trousers or crowns to the trade depot, and I had something like, I'm going to say maybe 16 prison cells set up, which wasn't enough. And so the captain of the guard went and beat up a load of people. I always choose a captain of the guard that's no good at fighting, but I hadn't got around to giving him a full squad, which meant that I think there was only 2 or 3 of them. I tend to put my injured people, like people with permanent injuries, into my captain of the guard team, because like if they've got an inability to grip, then they're not going to be so good at fighting. Make sure they don't have weapons and stuff like that. So if they hand out a beating, it's not too bad. But because they were beating up so many people and there was only a handful of them, they got really good at it, and I ended up losing, I think 6 or 7 dwarves were beaten to death. Along with the rest of all the people who were locked up, and yeah. People got very unhappy about that, so we ended up going and invading another goblin fortress and taking over somewhere else. Yeah, too many barons. So you can't send... I can't evict barons. You can't... what's the word? Exile them. Yeah, you can't exile a noble. But you can send them on a mission to go and... conquer another enemy's territory. You can put them in the military and send them off. So I did that. And some goblins are dealing with 16 barons and baronesses. ruling the roost. It must be like hell on earth. You can also build a lava channel that floods their bedrooms and drains into the caverns. Yeah, I mean, we can kill them. Which, if they became too problematic, I'm certainly not opposed to that. But if I can use them for useful purposes, like send them to go and rule over a village of goblins, that would be my preference. I used to, before we could go out and occupy enemy places, I would find ways to constructively remove unwanted nobles. But generally what I'd do is put them in a squad by themselves. And tell them to go and deal with that siege out there. And then that way it wouldn't be me. Wouldn't be the dwarves who had ordered the death. They'd be fighting, they'd have a warrior's death that wouldn't upset too many people. Right, I'm going to get them to dig this out as well. How far are we going here? Oh yeah, it's worth extending rather than doing it bit by bit. All of that. And all of that. And while you're down here, might as well be digging out all of this. Okay, so how many levers do I need? We've got 6 interim bridges and then 2 on the ends, so that's 8 levers for the northern tunnel. How many have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I say build levers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, while we're sequestered inside, this is the perfect time to be digging the external access to this tunnel. It saves the dwarves from running across the surface as they are wont to do, to go and do the external channels, even though that's longer than them doing it from inside. Is that sparring? Yep. Oh, we've had another child grow up. That child, whoever it is, no longer needs to be confined to the warren. So although I've got a military alert on at the moment, which is confining people to the warren, but ordinarily, if people are allocated to the warren, that will just stop them from doing activities. It won't stop them from wandering out of the Warren, but it'll stop them from doing activities in other areas. And because children, the activity that children do is to play, they will only play inside the designated safe zone, which just helps keep them a bit safe. Right, how, George, have you put your pants on yet, or your dress on? Let's just, we just zoomed to an area, I don't know why, we'll have a look in a second. Has George put some clothes on? George still hasn't put any clothes on. I'm very puzzled by George's behaviour. A pig bone statue. Excellent. Oh, we do like fancy statues. Probably use that statue in a noble's room. Speaking of nobles, where did I keep my mare? I need to tell my mare that he can use this as his dining room. What? I thought, oh, I must have not. I didn't auto mare it. Yeah, there we go. That is the mayor's dining room. I thought I'd already done that. But I did notice on the noble screen that it was telling me that the mayor didn't have a dining room. Okay. Right, we've started getting these levers built, so let's start linking them up. Link to a bridge. Yes, that one. And you will be the near north. You can take the second one. Link you to a bridge. Will be one of the last ones. There we go. So this one is mid north 1. And we can link one more with the mechanisms that we have. I like to get that far bridge linked up early. As soon as we've got that far bridge linked up, and then we can start digging the access to the outside world. Yeah, right, do that now. Okay, so we can link you to a bridge. Should have been the last bridge made. Okay. And you are far north. Okay, now where was I was building next to the hospital. Where do I keep the hospital? There. No, it's up. I need to put that inside a warren. Okay. Inside the burrow. Allow the miners to work on that. Now, I'll let them dig it out and I'll smooth it and engrave it first because we're not in a rush to have this area built. If you're wondering what this thing is in the middle, this was me marking out an area I'm going to do something in the middle of the fortress that sort of drops down here into a very heavily trafficked area. This is my tavern, this is my barracks, this is the way in and out of the fortress. So this is probably the most heavily trafficked area in the fortress. What's he claimed? Hopefully something good. I'm going to put... Oh, a steel crossbow. Nice. I'm going to put a waterfall mist generator contraption. I haven't decided exactly what. I've got a couple of ideas. I haven't settled on exactly which design I want to go for yet. It'll probably be just a little waterfall, so we'll probably drop down from the level above. So the water will drop down here into here. We'll have the reservoir below, and I might at this level then put in a water wheel, so we've got a perpetual motion engine that drives a pump that then pumps that water back up to here. So something of that kind of style. I'll need to bring the water in, sort of work out exactly where I want everything. I will do that as soon as the fortress is looking good. Once we've got the external tunnels built and all of the important tasks have been taken care of. Right, got you. You're next. So I want to link you to a bridge. We should have enough mechanisms now so this is bridge number 2. Yep. So this is mid-north 2. So in previous forts I have built plenty of pump stacks and reservoir systems, waterfalls, sort of water source systems, things that involved generating mist and creating waterfalls, but it was always for sort of practical purposes. I never designed one to be in a conveniently central place in the base. So I thought, let's try that. Let's try actually designing it in, because usually what happens is by the time I get around to building those sorts of contraptions, the core of my fortress is already built, and to retrofit the fortress with something like that would be quite difficult, and so I build something off to the side. Let's start designating the area around here. I want to dig. It's going to have to go here, and then we'll take it one back because of the river edge, and then an upstair here. We'll have an up-down stair there, and then the downstair will go there. So let's just make sure that the miners can build this. So you're allowed to do that one. You are allowed to do that. Not that yet, though. And you are allowed to dig that channel as soon as you've got access to. Okay. That'll allow some of these visitors to leave.
right you think I can do this?
I'm noticing that my well is looking a little low on water. Yeah, that's the bottom level as well. I think what we'll do, just make sure we are closed at the far end. Yep. I think we'll allow a little bit more water in. So that's the near gate. Yep, so pull that lever. This well is kind of a temporary arrangement, really. It was just so that we had a quick source of access for water. Once I've built, I might move the well. Once I build the waterfall contraption, I've contemplated doing things like setting up a pool that is fed permanently from the river. That has an open connection to the river. That I might leave open to the fortress most of the time. Have an emergency shut off for it, but gives us a fishing access spot that's constantly fed by the river. I'm toying with that. I'm not sure. There's risks involved, mainly to do with werebeasts walking down the river channel to get into the base. Okay, how have we got on? Nearly done down here. Tell you what, before we start smoothing walls, I probably want you to mine that. And I probably... Whoa. Don't want all of that tetrahedrite. Probably want that though. Just go as far as the burrow will let you. Where does that go to? Do you know, I might actually allow them to do that. Yep, burrows, indoors. At least do that much. Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with allowing them to do that.
It won't work.
So let's say here, up there. I mean, we might as well. Meanwhile, everybody else, you can get on with smoothing and engraving that bit. Right, let's have a look, see how the military are doing with their equipment. apart from George, of course. Okay, so what do you have? You're missing a sock. You're missing a sock. You're missing a sock. You're missing your boots. Also missing your shirt, gauntlets. You've got your helmet. You're missing your greaves. Is there a reason why we're not making the steel armor? Hang on, let's use hotkeys to get there. The steel armor as fast as we should be. Well, it's suspended. We've got 3 helmets in stock. Well, that's fine because it looks like everybody's got them. Okay, so that tells me that you must be suspended because you don't have the steel. Yeah. So charcoal's okay. You're smelting limonite ore. Maybe I just need to put down another smelter. I probably should have done that some time ago. Alright, build me a furnace, a smelter. Here. Make it out of shale blocks. We do have... Oh yeah, we've got plenty of wood in the wood stockpile, and that wood is accessible. Have we got enough mechanisms to connect the next bridge? Where are we up to? 3. Add link to bridge. 3. Yes, we have. Oops. Control N. And this is mid, north, 3. And we can do 4. Which is that one. Control N. Mid, north, 4.
No, I can't do it.
I just can't.
Let's just have a quick look and see how much water we've got left in this channel. Fair amount. I think I'll leave the gate down this end open for the time being. Got a fair few dogs now. I was using pigs as my guard animals rather than dogs because very early on we lost I brought 3 dogs. We lost one of the males. We lost the male and one of the females, but one of the migrants brought a male puppy with them. So dogs were at a premium. But now that we've started to get dogs, I like using dogs as guard creatures because they run away very quickly. Unlike the pigs. So with the pigs, I knew that the humans were heading for the northwest tunnel. And I told the pigs that they could come in. But they sauntered their way in so slowly that they ended up getting trapped in the gate system. Usually the dogs make a hurry their way down the tunnels. So we would want the dogs. Yeah. Search on dog. Right, female, male, male, female. Got a lot of male dogs. Let's take that male. And one female and another male. We'll take those 3 up there. They're starting to get a bit crowded down here as well anyway with all of the puppies. Although some of those will be guarding my roof entrance, I think. Speaking of roof entrance, how are we getting on up here? We should have more blocks now, not wall, floor. Oh, I need box select on. Floor, box select. So from here to here. Out of shale blocks we're looking for. Yeah. Oh good, they've started dumping the corpses in the corpse stockpile. Excellent. Yeah, I would really like it if you would also get rid of that Cyclops. And I think that might have been the werebeast that we killed. I wonder if this is just outside of the Warren area. Let's have a look. No, it's not. Well, at least we know they're doing dumping. Who's that in the moat? Is that a visitor trying to get in, or is that bard trying to get in or out? Ah, wants to get out. Yeah, we'll open the gates as soon as we've got the rest of the siegers sorted. Which should be pretty soon. Okay, so now I'll designate this area for channeling. And we'll say that this is indoors. we'll need to keep an eye on this area because the 4 siegers that are left on the surface are likely to wander over as soon as they realise that they've got an access point. But in the meantime, can we get any more of the gates linked up? Five. Yes, actually we should be able to do both of them. So Control N. This is mid north 5. And then the last one. Yep, it is the last one. So add link to bridge. Mid north 6. Oh, and I need to include a bigger area inside the indoors because they get confused when they're trying to channel down as to whether or not they're allowed to work that area. Okay, who are you? Well, you're not an invader, so that's fine. You're a poet of some description, a bard or a dancer or something? An entertainer of some description? Ah, but who are you? I don't... You're a warrior. I don't think you're an invader. Yep, you're just a visitor. They seem to be having trouble with this one. That might have something to do with the burrow. Although it shouldn't have. But let's just extend it one that way. Just in case. Okay, right, they've done that. Now I would like them to remove the ramps from here to here. The elephant is fighting. That'll give us an idea of where. Okay, so the humans are over here at the moment. Or at least one of them. Okay, so we've got a good bit of time yet before they get over to our northern entrance. I think that's a warrior leaving. Yep. Are you a visitor? Yep. Okay. Given that we might have time, I would really like it if we could get a floor built here out of shale blocks. We'll see how much of that floor we can get built before the invaders stop playing with the elephants and actually make their way down here. But while that's going on, have we got that smelter built? Yes, we have. No, we haven't. Why are you suspended? Did someone walk across you? Maybe we've got rather a lot of cats down here. I should start doing something about that. Animals. Yeah. Oops. I'm going to search. I'm going to keep my top 3 cats, I think. And then anyone who has adopted a human. So we'll... But yeah, it's time. No, do you know, even these... no, we'll butcher. Yeah. Okay, that's built. So what I want you to do is the same as the other one. I want you smelting limonite ore forever. And then I want you to make pig iron bars. On repeat. Yep. Actually, what might work more efficiently if I cancel that one and say you're making pig iron bars, and will it let me? No, it's not going to let me. Okay. Here. Yeah, I'll just have one smelting the limonite. And then the other put making pig iron and steel. That might work a little better. Right, now need to keep an eye on up here because who are you? You're a warrior looking to leave. There's a miner making his way in. Elephant fighting, fine. Oh, what we can do is start reducing what's considered to be indoors. Actually, no, let's build a hatch first. Get a hatch on there if we can. Petitions available. Yes, we accept all petitions whilst we're under siege. I see an elephant heading this way, which might be an indication that that the humans are heading in this direction also. Yes, okay, right, time to retreat. Especially when we've got somebody... Oh, I fear for this person. Right. Indoors. Hello, Alfie. Pesky humans always messing things up. Indeed. Usually humans are good trade partners as well, but this time it seems not. Okay, let's say stop what you're doing, stop working down here. None of this is currently an allowed area. Get yourself to safety. Hopefully that human lash will get distracted by this warrior. No? Yes? Definitely distracted by something. Okay, let's start cutting this area back. The hatch can wait. The hatch isn't essential. I only use the hatch to try and, like, when I've got a big group of enemies, I want to make them take the big door rather than the small door. We should be okay leaving this open, I think. Just so long as they get out of this main tunnel, because sometime soon we should have the invaders coming in there.
I can't do it.
Are you leaving? Yeah. I'm gonna leave the dogs at the entrance for the moment. What's going on? A bit of sparring? Normally when I know that we've got enemies nearby, I'll bring the dogs back in straight away, but this time I need to give my people chance to get home. What's wrong? Oh, okay, one of the visitors is fighting. Yeah, so the humans are pottering around outside. Okay, he's coming back. As long as my dwarves are safely home, which they are, we can let the dogs free. Okay, dogs, make your way home. No sense in leaving you there to be slaughtered. Okay, so what have we got here? Human crossbowman, human swordsman, and we saw the human spearman is there, and the lasher is there. Now that lasher is busy being distracted by the elephant. But these are the 4. I want all 4 of them in the tunnels, ideally. That must be the elephant fighting. Really? You're not coming in? 4 of you are there. What are you distracted by? And you just look scared. Where are you 3 going? Hmm. It's a little puzzling. Is the siege about to break? Are they about to leave? I think that's the case. What about the other 3? They're down here. What are you guys up to? Are you making your way to the edge of the map? I'm guessing that's what's going on. Although they might get distracted by the wildlife on their way out. Although usually if they start leaving, which they definitely are, because that human lasher just walked off. It wasn't the lasher, it was the spearman. Usually the siege is broken as soon as they decide that they're going to leave. I'm a little puzzled. We don't have anybody other than those invaders. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trapped in the tunnels, and those 3 that appear to be making their way off the map. Yep, they're right up against the eastern edge of the map there. Well, while they make their way off, just have a look at how's our military doing for equipment? Have we started making the things they need yet? You've got your steel boots on. George still doesn't have a dress or a male shirt. We're still missing quite a bit of kit. It's so tempting to just go and take out the people in the tunnels and see if we survive. I kind of want to. I know that the consequence is going to be missing limbs. It's just whether... Because if they are going to leave, I could just let them out of the tunnel and leave them to walk off the map. On the other hand, we could take them on. Oh, I'm so tempted to take them on. I know it's a really bad idea. I know someone's going to lose limbs. But what the hell? Right, squads. A. Right, archers, move here. Fighters, move here. Including the naked ones. We'll take on these 3 and see how we do. What I could do while people are assembling, if we get that lever pulled, pull now. Do it now. See if we can split the forces just a little more. Yep, there we go. So now we can let down gate 2. Yeah, pull that now. They may move as a group, but that's fine. I want them to move forwards gate by gate anyway. Closing one behind them as... In fact, let's get the near one closed. Pull that one now. They are not coming forwards at all. I think they've routed. I'm just not quite sure why. Why we're still considered under siege if they have routed. Okay, we're just going to have to pull all the levers if they're not going to walk towards us. What we can do, if we... By dropping these two gates, it will give them access to the outside world via this path. And if they have routed, then they will make their way that way, and our army is here, ready and waiting. 1 second. Fabiola and Ella. I'd rather you weren't in the military right now. So Fabiola and Ella. Okay, right, so the enemy is now making its way forwards. Which is a good thing, because some of our military are getting thirsty. Okay, I would like for somebody to pull that lever. I also want someone to pull one of those levers. No rush on it, but yeah, let's make sure that they don't go running off. We want to make sure they get killed. Let them get a little bit closer. Okay, very good. So now squads, attack. A, kill this one. B, kill that one. A, kill this one. Hang on, who forgot? Yep, that one. B, kill that one. B, kill that one. This one? Where is he? I have a hammerman here somewhere. Well, since there's only one of them, I can say kill. Oh. Yeah, there we go. Okay, you're safe to panic. We can open that one again. And now we're gonna class this area as indoors. And we're going to get these corpses out of here before we do anything else, so that we don't have our troops fighting their next battle in the midst of a bunch of miasma. I know, it was scary. Right, let's pull. We'll get that one pulled. And we'll open gate 3. Maybe we'll be able to coax one of those humans a little bit closer.
can't do it.
Okay, let's pull lever 1. And just go a quick scout around and make sure that there's no things like noses or ears or arms on the floor. Anything that might rot. Teeth are okay, teeth don't go rotten. So we can collect up all of the loot once we've dealt with the remaining sieges. Have you wandered forwards at all? No, looks like you're staying stationary. We have picked up all of the stuff, so let's remove this again. Just cut it back to there. And now we'll get the squads back out.
Sorry, I can't do it, sir.
Get A to move to here, B to move
Can't do that then.
to there. And we'll get this one pulled. Let that spearman out. And he should start walking forwards now because he's got a path. You know, don't make me come out there and get you. I have to go out there and get him. Okay.
Sorry, I can't do it, sir.
Move. Archers move here. I think you'll be out of sight. Fighters move here. Who? What? A Mark's dwarf's fighting. Who are you fighting? What are you fighting? That sounded like someone who had maybe jumped off the cliff into my moat or something. Maybe they just got clobbered by a bridge as it was pulled. Okay, do we have the troops in place? Is everyone here?
Another dwarf has got an idea. Best get the dogs out and assign it to him in case he goes mad.
Okay, we'll sort you out in a minute, but for now, squads, kill him, B, kill him. Okay, I think you've achieved that. So squads A, move here. B, move here. And while you assemble yourselves, we'll get that next lever pulled.
This workshop's mine now.
Okay, we'll check you and your Baymood once we've dealt with this last invader. Oh yeah, the siege is broken. Fantastic. Military? Where are you going? Right, kill. Kill. Right, nice job. So that, I think, is all of the invaders dead. Oh no, there's still 3 of them. The 3 outside. Okay, they're actually making their way in. I'd have thought they'd be making their way out. Aha, so while I wasn't watching, some of the last 3 invaders had actually started making their way into the tunnel. Okay, Bessie's getting on with her construction. Alright, time to get the dogs back now. So if we can have some guard dogs up here. You, and you. Right, what have we got dead in the tunnels that needs to be hauled? Yeah, I don't want to let people out just yet. Not until the last invaders have walked off the map. So we'll just tell them to come and clean up this area. Oops. Okay, just come and get those corpses. And that corpse. And we'll get these skeletons dumped as well. Just so that the dwarves don't have to look at it. Right, let's pull gate 5. In fact, we can get both of these gates pulled now. Right, now that gate 5's been pulled, let's get some guard creatures up here. Got a lot of cats, so maybe we'll move the cats up here. Yeah, you 3. Right, do we have anything that is going to rot and cause miasma? No, I don't see anything. Bit more blood and guts down here. Tooth, teeth. Nope, just teeth there as well. Right, have the invaders left the map? Yes, they have. So I think we're safe to let the people free. But military alerts inactive. Okay, so while I'm thinking about it, I am now going to remove all of the bits of Warren that I've got around the place. Have I got any left up here? Clear this lot off. Because if I don't do it now, what will happen is I'll forget. And then at some point we'll be under siege, or there'll be a weird beast or something, and someone, a stonemason, will decide that on that little bit of square that I've left and said, yeah, you're safe to work in this area, he'll run out and go and try and collect a bit of rock. Yeah, I don't think I defined... Yeah, because we haven't actually done any of the exit work up there. Okay. Let's have a look at the dwarf's health after that. Did anybody get... Okay, so there's a couple of people tired. Finn got some bruises and an infection. Ernie... Oh yeah, he lost his arm, but that was in the... That was the first attack. Yeah... In pain and dizzy? You must be doing some outdoors work. And some others as well. Alice is just suffering from the time that she got caught in the cave-ins. A green tourmaline crown. Lovely. Well, I've been streaming for 2 hours. And... by the sounds of it, things are about to get very noisy outside. I can hear a helicopter. And various other noises. So I think what I'll do, I'm going to take a break in the stream. Maybe just get myself a drink and stuff and just see whether or not it's going to get noisy. And if it's just a passing thing, then I'll be streaming again in 5 or 10 minutes. Otherwise, if it is getting noisy outside, I'll be back later once it gets quiet again. So thank you for keeping me company so far. And I will be back at some point later, which might be in 5 or 10 minutes, might be in a couple of hours, not sure. But thanks for watching. And thanks for joining us, Haf.